unboxing a Carrera Go 71598 lap timer. This is the new unit from Carrera, which has not actually arrived in the UK yet. So I ordered this from the Carrera website, from the main Carrera website, and it arrived within, I think, 5 or 6 days from Germany, so that's pretty good. Paid for it with my own money. It's not any sort of gift from Carrera. Bought it as a customer of Carrera products. So here we are. Arrived this morning, and I've opened the box, as you can see, but not opened the contents. Fairly basic packaging. A note from Carrera saying, "Oh right, so there's a signature of the person who packed the box." That's nice, isn't it? Shipping details and the cost. No wrapping, and here we are. The unit. It's quite stylish, quite attracted to it, and the features seem to be quite useful. Better than the older version of the Carrera Bridge, which looks really antiquated, and annoyingly has a timeout of 3 minutes. I believe the timeout on this is longer, and we'll get into that later. So here we are, the instructions on the end, the description of the unit on the box, Carrera Go, and I'll try and get into it. Oh. It's probably ruined my pen, but never mind. Instructions in several languages: British, GB, stroke USA, Italian, Spanish, German, French, Czechoslovakian, and the unit. Quite stylish unit, as I mentioned. Oh no, it's a table tie wrapped on. I'll have to go get somebody to cut the tie wraps with. Just give me a second. Tie wrapped on is quite nice, but could be a bit of an issue on Christmas morning or whatever. It comes with a spare half straight also. That's quite good. So here we are. And oh, I need a screwdriver to put the batteries in, don't I? Right. Screwdriver will magically appear. And we're back with the screwdriver. So much for trying to do the unboxing in one shot, but here we are. I was going to show you how to get the battery hatch open, and I'll do that now. There's a screw hole in here for a screw, and if I undo that somewhere in here, undo that, and the battery compartment is in here. Hopefully you can see this, not too sure if you can, but battery hatch is inside, and pull it out, comes out, and it takes 3 AA size batteries. That's the standard AA size type battery, 3 of those. I'm not going to use the batteries, I'm going to use the alternative power source, which is to use a USB cable. So I'll show you that in a second. So on the base here, hopefully you can see this, just here there is a small USB socket, the kind that you find on many telephones. There is a newer style called Type C, but this is Type B, B for Bravo, and most some telephone charging leads will fit in there. It's purely a power connection, there's no data, so you cannot download or connect this unit to a computer or to a portable device of any sort. This is purely standalone. The connectivity is just not there. Portable devices like app connections or through Bluetooth, just there's no facility for that. So here we are. My power bank for using the unit, powering unit, is here, and it's got this, as mentioned, the small USB micro type connector. Plug that in. Got it right around, and it's off at the moment. I have to switch on the power from the power bank, and I'll do that now. The unit powers up. The screen lights and the Carrera logo lights up. The clock has started running. I kind of mentioned this earlier, that the clock immediately starts to run, and you can drive cars immediately, and it'll start recording the times and the number of laps the car's completed. The sensors are in the guide slot in the track. So there's one in here and one in here, and I've got a little bar here which I shall use to mimic the car passing by. If I do that, you get a beep to tell you that the car's triggered the sensor. Same for the other lane, and then that's the car effectively leaving the start line. So it's registered that the car's crossed the start line, saying lap 0. When the car comes back again and completes the first lap, the count goes to 1 to indicate the number of laps completed, and that display line there equates to the track lane nearest the unit. Oh, I just triggered it again, so that's 2 gone. If I trigger the other lane, the lane here, furthest away from the unit, it will register on the bottom line of the display, which to my mind is a bit back to front, but that's the way it is. The sounds that it makes, the beep, varies in tone. If you beat your fastest lap time, you get a lower tone sound than just if you're triggering the completion of a lap. So this should be just a normal lap, should we say, a high pitched tone, and then when I trigger it quickly, like I did there, you get the lower tone to indicate you've improved your best time. I'll just do that on the other lane. So it's for a normal lap. I'll go back in again, and this time it will be a fast lap, which is the lower tone. So that's quite good. It indicates as you're running around, you get instant feedback as to whether you've improved your time or not. Sadly, both lanes make the same noise, so if you actually have 2 cars circulating, you need to be aware of which car crossed the line at that particular time. So that's the unit, quite nice. You can end the session by pressing the button at the right hand side here. At that point, the screen display flashes and the Carrera logo flashes. I think that's telling you that it's kind of paused the timing. If I press again, it will stop flashing, and it stops the timing at that point as well. So that's ended the session, as it were. On the display, if I press the left-hand button, it tells me which lane is in which position if it was a race. So the lane, that row, which is the one nearest the unit, is in second position, and the one furthest away, the lane furthest away, is in first position, as if it was a race. In actual fact, it was just a practice session, so not really a race. There are 3 modes the unit works in. That mode we've just been operating in, which Carrera refer to as training mode, I would refer to it as practice, and that is the default mode when you switch on. It instantly goes into that, so you can instantly start clocking times with the car going round. The other mode is, well, one of the other two modes is the race, which is limited by the number of laps. They call that a lap race. And then the other type is a race limited by time, and they call that a time race. In the other video I'm going to do more in depth, I'll show you how you set these up, but you set them up using the buttons on here. Unfortunately, the instructions do refer to this button as button 1, and then later on they mention this one being as button 1, so it's not so great in the instructions in that respect. But if you think about it as button A, B and C, then you can work to that sort of regime. There are start light LEDs, and these count down when you start a race. They're on both sides, so you can see them from both sides. If you've got one racer at this side, another racer at the other side, then they'll both see the countdown. It records jump starts. If somebody jumps the start and crosses the sensor before the race has actually started, you get an indication of some sort. I'm not sure exactly what. The instructions say that the start line, the unit should be after the start line. So it would go in there effectively. Kind of awkward with the power connector there, but that's not what they suggest. And the reason for that is, as I showed earlier, at the start of the race, the car has to trigger the timer once to start the lap counting, and that's when it indicated 0 laps completed. So that's why you have to have the start line before the timing unit, and that seems to work quite well. Other things to tell you about, I think that's about it. The dual power supply is useful. You could run it from a phone charger if the charger has enough capacity. I think it's 500 milliamp capacity it needs, which is quite high. So maybe not all phone chargers will be able to produce that current. It's quite a nice unit. It seems to be fairly robust, fairly solid in the Carrera way, of course. So it should stand a bit of abuse, as they tend to suffer. The sensors are embedded in the slots, in the grooves, and they're on a single circuit board under here. So using this with any other kind of track system might be challenging if you don't know much about electronics and soldering and things like that. But for Carrera use, it'll be, well, I think it'll be very useful. It's more convenient than the bridge type, the predecessor Carrera bridge, which relies on having access for the unit to stand on both sides of the track, whereas this only stands at one side, which is perhaps more useful if you have limited space. What else can I tell you? I think you can switch it off by holding the button in for a few seconds. It powers down that way. Oh, the timeout. The automatic timeout is 10 minutes or thereabouts, which is a much more convenient time than the bridge unit, which times out after 3 minutes. 3 minutes can be spent just putting your car back on the track, fixing the brushes or whatever. When you put the car back on the track, can take 3 minutes, and then you lose the race settings. I believe that this unit actually saves the race settings. It will do this time because the power is still on from the power bank. So I guess we'll press that. We'll go back to where we were. Well, it didn't go exactly back to where we were, but I think that if I had set up a race and said like it's a 10 lap race, that kind of setting would be retained when the power was off. But we'll find that out in the other video. So, introductory video. Hope that's been useful. Sorry I didn't get the battery situation and the tyre situation predicted. I didn't realise that was going to happen. But that's the risk of doing things live, as they were. Okay, thank you for watching Video Turini, and see you next time.